Welcome to the channel. Today we are doing a case study on a couple that we'll call Mike and Karen. Now Mike and Karen are retired with over $1.8 million in their IRAs. Required minimum distributions are just around the corner, and their biggest goal is to reduce the tax burden on their retirement income and the future inheritance for their kids. Now in this case study, I'll walk you through a Roth conversion strategy and an income plan that could save them a lot of money over time. I'm Justin Ancona, partner here at Steward Guide Wealth Partners. Our goal and our mission here is to honor God by providing excellent financial guidance to everyone who we have the privilege of working with. Now let's get into it. All right, getting into this case study on Mike and Karen. So a little more information. Both of them are 63 years old. They live in North Carolina. They're both fully retired, and Mike is receiving a pension, $22,000 a year. And they like to delay Social Security till 70. Current expenses are $120,000 per year. And again, as we mentioned at the start, their main goal is to reduce taxes before required minimum distributions start to kick in, because they know, and it's not necessarily just reduce taxes now, but it's really reduce taxes in the future, because they've got this amount of money, $1.8 million in their IRAs, and that's going to continue to grow. And so if that were to even, let's say, in the next 10 years at a 7% return, that could double to $3.6 million. And so they have to start taking out a big chunk from there each year, and they want to figure out a strategy. We want to help figure it out, with them, what we can do now proactively to help reduce taxes over the long term. All right, so now let's start talking about the planning that we're going to do in this window of time. And really the window is from now, age 63, till 70. Why 70? Because that's when Social Security kicks in. And between the two of them, you're getting just over $7,300 per month, which is right about $85,000 per year. So starting age 70, their income is going to go up $85,000. And then again, as we talked about at age 73, they're going to have to take out 3.5% per year from their IRAs. Let's get into talking about how we plan for this period and what we want to really look to do on a year-to-year basis. So first, before we start talking about Roth conversions, we need to think about where is their income need going to come from now. So again, they've got a need of $120,000 per year. We have to satisfy that before we can do Roth conversions. So again, Mike has a $22,000 per year pension. That takes care of a portion of it. Fortunately, they've done well in saving into a brokerage account. So they've got this taxable account that's just under $700,000, and this is going to act as a really important account during this time. So we're going to look to take from this in conjunction with the pension to meet their needs. And we may have to take some from their IRAs now just for their basic needs as well. And so we'll take a look at that. But what we're really wanting to do here is, this is a look at the tax brackets for 2025. And what we'd like to do in this period of time where they don't have required minimum distributions and they're not taking Social Security, we'd like to, if we can, stay in this 12% bracket, maximize that. And if it makes sense, going into the 22%. But chances are we look to maximize the 12%. Now, we can do that up to about $97,000 for a married couple. So for Mike and Karen, they could do up to $97,000 plus the standard deduction, which gives them another $30,000 that we could use. So right around, let's just say $130,000, we could have an income and really be in that 12% bracket. So coming back here, the $22,000, that would count towards their income. 22,000 of income would count towards that $130,000. And then what we would look to do is we could say, another $100,000. Could we get most of that from the taxable account? We probably could. We could look to take most of that from there. We may need to take some small amounts from the IRA, but a majority of what we want to take from the IRA is going to be in doing a Roth conversion. So taking from the IRA, paying the tax now, and converting it to a Roth. And so just rough numbers without running scenarios, we could roughly maybe do $100,000 as a Roth conversion in this calendar year. There would be tax on that, so we'd want to be paying the tax with this taxable brokerage account, the joint brokerage that they have. And you could expect to pay, based on that chart, around 12% tax. So on $100,000, they could have a $12,000 tax bill that they would incur. So that would raise their total income need from $120,000 to $132,000. Now that's just looking at doing this 1 year. Now again, we've got until age 70 to continue to look to do more of this. That gives us 6 or 7 years where we can potentially, each year will be different, but potentially do approximately $100,000 in conversions. Now that has a big impact over time. Keep in mind, if we were to not touch the IRAs, the IRA could be worth, if it doubled in 10 years, could be worth $3.6 million. And if we take $3.6 million at a 3.5% rate that we would have to make withdrawals at 3.5%, that alone is $126,000 that would need to be coming out of the IRAs starting at age 73. Now, tack on top of that another $85,000 with what's required in Social Security. We're already at close to $110,000, just over, and then $210,000, and then add on another $22,000. We're getting in that $230,000 range. So we'd be well into that 22% bracket, and maybe even getting into the 24% bracket, slightly into the 24% bracket. So you can see that, by making these adjustments, so if that 1.8 got lowered instead of continuing to grow, or even if we lowered it and it grew and it stayed at, let's just say it stayed at 1.8 because of the growth, that the portion that we didn't convert stayed in there, that's quite a bit less that we would have to take, half as much, $63,000, that we would have to take from the IRAs each year. And then we've got the money that's in the Roth, and that's growing completely tax-free. Remember, once you make the conversion, you never pay tax on the Roth money again. And that can be passed down to your heirs. They don't pay tax, and they don't have to, but they do have to pull it out within 10 years. But the Roth IRA is never subject for you to the required minimum distribution. So you can just continue to let it grow. Then it gets passed down to your heirs, at which point they would have to pull it out within 10 years. But there's no tax, so they're not worrying about being in their high earning years and paying a substantial amount of tax on it when they're required to do so with the IRAs. Now, this is just a high level overview of how you could strategically plan for a unique window of opportunity like Mike and Karen have, where their income's lower from age 63 to 70, and it's gonna be higher later on. So again, there's a unique opportunity to help reduce taxes by doing Roth conversions, using the assets that they have to cover the short-term needs and being strategic with that. Now, we do have a Roth conversion software that you can actually quantify the amount of tax that you'd likely save, how much more you could have. But again, just because you do a Roth conversion doesn't mean that you're going to have more money. Doing it at the right time and doing it strategically can result in that. Now, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, we hope to see you in the next video. Take care.